ShopGearNetwork.com.
This is a Gear Network production.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Gear Network presents the Football Talk Weekly Podcast with John Cimino and Brandon Gorell. And now, here's John.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. It is Super Bowl week. How in the bloody bluest of hells are you?
Hi.
All right. John Cimino here at the JC Money on the Twitter. And joined, as always, by my eyesore, Mr. Brandon Gorell. Brandon, say hello.
Hello.
And as always, this podcast, and this network, we are sponsored by ShopGear.com. That's right, ShopGear.com. Go there. It is ShopGere.com. There, now you know how to spell it.
Ooh.
But it takes you right to Amazon, and it will help us out with your purchases. Or, if you don't like Amazon, which is totally cool, you can go to GearNetwork.com. Right on the site strip up top there, where it says donate. Go ahead and make some donations. Brandon, because like you said last podcast,
Greatest nation in the world
is donation. All right. We had a week off, so Brandon, what the hell you been up to?
I don't know, man. I've been working. I had my big interviews on Radio Row this week.
That's right.
Nobody came, and it wasn't on the air, but it definitely did happen.
Okay.
I will assure you that.
Okay.
Alternative
fact?
Licking the wounds of Green Bay loss.
Yeah.
It was tough. It was
painful to watch.
That was a team that spent everything they had the week before.
Yep.
And had nothing left the week after. Everything went wrong before the game that could have.
Yep.
Like, you had no wide receivers are practicing all week. You had Rodgers nursing the flu, Crosby nursing the flu, Nelson with the ribs and the flu. You just had all that. First play of the game, they get delayed on their flight.
Yep.
By 4.5 hours the
Yep.
night flying in, so they have to come in at like 9:30 at night. Get up for the game, kick the ball off. First play of the game, injury, guy out for the game, and it just continued to snowball after that. It just was bad news all the way around.
Our last podcast, we had talked about how oftentimes the championship games for each respective conference typically is better than the Super Bowl matchup itself because
not the case.
Totally not the case this year. This year, if you listen to that podcast, you were like, "Oh man, I can't wait for these games." And then you got these games, and you're like, "Damn you, JC! What the hell are you talking about?"
The thing of it is you can't even take anything away from the teams that won because they're really that good a team.
Mm-hmm. Wait, did you just compliment the Falcons?
I did. They their offense is really tough. If Green Bay could have got something going on offense, I think it could have been a shootout. But they just to get down 17-0, you become one-dimensional. Defense can pin its ears back and just send him the house after Rodgers.
Yep.
It was just not a good deal. I mean, and a lot of the balls that Rodgers were throwing, they were short. It's because he's recovering from the flu. You just don't have the same zip. You don't have the strength, stamina.
They were gassed. And
credit where credit's due. They scored a lot more points than we did.
It's unfortunate that the season had to end that particular way.
Same for Pittsburgh, too.
But not
losing Le'Veon Bell that early.
Yeah, losing Le'Veon Bell that early was really what did it.
Yeah.
But when you talk about the season that was for the Green Bay Packers and for it to go down the way that it did, I think too many people are looking at that part of it instead of what it took for them to get
8
there.
Straight wins to get there.
I mean, that in and of itself was remarkable, and the fact that they got to that point, beating a very, very tough Dallas team.
Yeah, they beat a tough Giants team.
The way they did, they were bound to run out of gas, but if they could have, if they could have beaten the Falcons and had that extra week of rest, I mean, it really could have done something. But Packers fans, you have nothing to be ashamed about. That is the way it is.
It looks like Ted Thompson said he's going to spend some money in the offseason in free agency, try to beef up that secondary a little bit.
I thought he was retiring.
It was banged up. I heard that he was retiring, but then I heard he's not. I heard he said they were willing to delve into the free agent market this year a little more than usual.
That's right.
That means we'll get 2 free agents instead of 1.
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, I mean, again, Matthew Ice was just he was on his game. He was on his game, and there wasn't much resistance from the Packers. They just kind of had to lay there and take it. Same thing with the Steelers. Tom Brady was on his game, and Brady is he's a killer.
All right.
Can't wait for the Super Bowl, man.
Well, and that's a great segue. We're headed there now. Super Bowl 51, or for you Roman numeral nuts, Super Bowl Lee in Houston on Sunday at 6:30 on the Fox television network. The New England Patriots and the Atlanta Falcons are playing. They are obviously the very best right now that the AFC and the NFC have to offer. Quite frankly, the only team that I could really see giving New England a run for their money is the Dirty Birds. Mm-hmm. And Vegas has them up as the 3-point favorite over New England. I'm guessing it's going to be a very high offensive game, probably a shootout. But we're going to kick it off right now. Brandon, Super Bowl pick.
Yeah.
Who you got?
Well, it's quick transition. Oh, I got New England. I don't want to bet against Tom Brady. The Patriots have a air about them right now. They have a chip on their shoulder. They have an axe to grind. And they want nothing more than to make old Raj stand up on that stage in front of the entire planet and hand Robert Kraft that Super Bowl trophy and have to introduce the guy who has to hand over the trophy, the MVP trophy, to probably Tom Brady.
Probably.
Unless something miraculous happens again, like, Matt Ryan throwing an interception on the 1-yard line instead of running it. And they give it to the guy who makes the pick.
Yeah.
I just can't bet against Tom Brady. Tom Brady has a focus to him. He's had a focus to him the entire season. The guy's been laser sharp the entire year. He's on a mission, and I don't foresee him. I think for once, if you look at all the Patriots Super Bowls, except for the first 3 Super Bowls, they got down and got the last kick. And Philadelphia didn't have much of a chance. They came back late, but the Patriots put them away early. But those first 2, they got down to kickers. The last 3, 2 of which they lost, he did not have the ball, except for Hail Mary heave at the end of a game, in his hands. The one that they won, they would have lost 2 with him sitting on the bench had Russell Wilson handed it to beast mode. I have a feeling this time it's going to come down to Tom Brady on a final drive, and I think he's going to pull it out? Get it in a position for Gostowski to do it, or he's going to do it himself, and he's going to probably hit Hogan for a touchdown. Okay. Apparently that's this guy's year.
Yeah, apparently
they're grinding that axe into Buffalo's throat.
Let's look at the stats for the big 3 categories here: passing, rushing, and receiving. Brady, 291 of 432, 3,554 yards, 28 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. By the way,
games.
He played 12 games.
Yeah.
Matt Ryan, 373 of 534, 4,944 yards, 38 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Monster season. Yeah. Very likely the MVP. Leading in rushing, LeGarrette Blount, 299 carries, 1,161 yards, 18 touchdowns. Devontae Freeman, 227 carries, 1,079 yards, 11 touchdowns. And then in your receiving matchup here, Julian Edelman, 98 receptions, 1,106 yards, 3 touchdowns. Julio Jones, 83 receptions, 1,409 yards, 6 touchdowns. There's going to be plenty of offense to go around here.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's going to come down to whoever's defense executes in that one moment when they need to. And again, I put my money on the Pats with that because that's what Belichick does. He looks to either try to take away your best weapon or severely cripple it. Mm-hmm. So in this case, I'm guessing he's going to work on Julio Jones, even though he's got other guys to go to. Mm-hmm. You know, it's gonna make it tough for him. I don't think he can totally shut them down. I don't think that the Patriots have the personnel to shut them down. I'd be surprised if they keep him under 30 points.
Right.
But I don't foresee Atlanta's defense holding him under 30 points either.
I don't. It's, it's Tom freaking Brady. I mean, that's who they're playing. All right, so notable injuries in the injury report here, all listed as questionable, that I'm just going to go through right now. Martellus Bennett, Alan Branch, Chris Hogan, Malcolm Mitchell, and Nate Ebner for the Patriots, and Alex Mack and Julio Jones for the Falcons. So as far as you go, you say you're taking the Patriots?
Yep.
I got to say, I was very, very torn on this.
Okay.
I picked the Dirty Birds, and I've rode the Dirty Birds bandwagon all season. It's documented. You can go back and listen.
I know.
So it's not something
I had to sit through that nauseating song.
What song?
You know the song. I don't want to hear
it. But and they've got to the Super Bowl. And now that they've got to the Super Bowl, I'm thinking, well, I wouldn't mind seeing them win it. I wouldn't mind seeing them going forward. Then comes about a week ago on Facebook, and there was a post that Black Adam Schefter posted.
Yes.
Where it's a picture of this guy that says Vegas Dave putting $5 million on the Falcons. And somebody commented, someone crying Jordan this right now, so that way, when if they lose, we have it. So I took it upon myself to take the picture, put crying Jordan on it.
Yeah.
I put a crying Jordan face over the guy, and then I put a crying Jordan face at the tip of the beak of the Falcon.
Uh-huh.
And then posted it and said, "Here, take it. You saw it here first." And it was liked by well over 150 people.
Yeah.
But there was one person, one Falcons fan, who decided to go petty. And he brought up my profile.
Oh, man.
Screenshot it. And then put a crying Jordan face over me. And was like, "You saw it here first." And I would say his name, but I'm not going to give him that press. All I'm going to say now is that between that and the fact that I am so goddamn anti-Goodell and anti-establishment, I am picking the New England Patriots to win this game because I have saved. Huh?
Am I getting it?
But not so fast. No. F that. I want that. That dude
got too toasty.
That dude pissed me off.
That guy put it personal,
and because he got personal with me, I saved that link to that particular Black Adam Schefter status. And if the Patriots do in fact win, I'm going to go to that sumbitch's profile, and I'm going to crying Jordan him. I'm going to crying Jordan him, crying Jordan me, and then I'm going to freaking just blow up that entire post and tag him every freaking chance I get, and I'm going to do it, and that's why. So, Dirty Birds, thank you for a hell of a season that you've given me.
Better luck next year.
That you've given me a hell of a season, and if you win, Atlanta, congratulations, my heart will not be broken. But to that freaking troll online that did that, f*** you. I swear to God, New England wins. I am going to make you regret the day you ever trolled someone like me. All right.
That's 3 toasties you got to do there, buddy.
Yes, I know.
That's glorious.
I know.
I'm pretty proud of you.
I'm sorry. I got fucking mad. I'm sorry, man. You know what it is? I'm still in wrestling. I'm still in wrestler mode. I'm still in wrestler mode. I got to be a wrestler for the first time in 5 years last Friday, and I'm still coming down off that high. That son of a bitch, let me tell you. All right, Brandon. Let's go to more happy things, right? Let's go to the Pro Bowl.
Pro Bowl.
The Pro Bowl went back to the AFC versus NFC format. The NFL was aiming for the nostalgia factor with the AFC versus NFC by posting a bunch of old videos and old pics of all the NFL greats that were taking part in the Pro Bowl. And what happened, Brandon? No one gave a crap.
Down for the 5th consecutive year.
Now, let me ask you this.
Yep.
Because aside from totally canceling the Pro Bowl, which at this point is probably what they should be doing, what does the NFL need to do, realistically, to make this game watchable? Make it matter? I mean, I remember growing up, the Pro Bowl used to be after the Super Bowl. And it was in Hawaii.
Yeah.
And you got to see players that were elected to the Pro Bowl that went to the Super Bowl.
Right.
But now
they were like, I got a sweet vacation after the Super Bowl.
Exactly. But now, when
They just can't stand having that week of nothing.
right.
They just can't. They have
They
to
moved.
be there.
They moved it up, and now all of these Pro Bowls, quarterbacks or whatever. Like, I mean, half the Patriots. Tom Brady would have been in there. Matt Ryan would have been in the Pro Bowl.
Right.
They would have wanted. They would have wanted to see them a week after the week after the Super Bowl, and no, they can't because they're preparing for the Super Bowl now. So they're not going to go there. So now you're getting all these reserves and these, Tyrod Taylor. Sure, Tyrod Taylor's been pretty good, but you know what? He was an alternate.
Right.
So, aside from going back to the way it was, Brandon, what the hell can the NFL do to make this Pro Bowl, to make it better, to make it watchable? I don't know.
There's nothing they can do. Nobody cares. People didn't really care when it was after the Super Bowl. They care even less now that it's before the Super Bowl. It's an ugly thing. It needs to be taken out like Old Yeller.
So like the skills challenge?
I heard about it. I didn't watch it. I was busy. But people told me it was pretty entertaining.
I did see...
It did get good ratings. And it will be back, obviously, next year because it does better than the Pro Bowl.
I saw something with Dak Prescott versus Jason Garrett.
Yeah.
And like a skill challenge of trying to throw the football through a basketball hoop.
Yeah.
And Jason Garrett was all over the place.
Freaking Carrot Top.
And Dak was just drilling him, and Garrett was all over the place. And I kept thinking it was, it shows why he was the backup to Aikman, but either way, that was pretty funny. But I didn't actually see any of the skills stuff. So,
well, if they want some cues, there's 2 All-Star games out there that are doing pretty well in the ratings. They're not Major League Baseball. Major League Baseball's, it's made it a better game by making it for World Series host, but I think they're getting rid of that.
They're getting rid of that this season.
But the Home Run Derby's fun, and people watch that. Mm-hmm. But if you watch the NBA All-Star, it's an All-Star weekend. It's mid-season. It's a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. They have the dunk contest. They have the three-point contest. They have the rookie game. They have celebrity basketball game. All that fun stuff. And then you look at the NHL. The NHL does a similar thing. They do a weekend where they have a celebrity pro-am thing. So you get a sweet thing with Chris Pronger drilling Justin Bieber into the boards and his mask coming up in his face and Pronger's rubbing it in, smiling behind him. It's
and
great.
Then funny memes follow.
Yeah, but the Biebs set up the game-winning goal, and still proves he can still play hockey. That Canadian part, it still shines through for him. But then they have the All-Star Skills Challenge afterwards, which has some cool events. You got the hardest shot, you got the fastest skater, you got the target practice, which Crosby won. You got that. That's fun. And then the next day, they don't do an actual All-Star game. What they do is they go by divisions. You've got your division all-stars now. And what they do is they have a team from the Metropolitan, the Atlantic, the Pacific, and why am I totally blowing the other Western Conference one? Anyways, Western Conference, 2 divisions, 2 in the Eastern Conference, and they square off, and they play against each other in 3-on-3 tournaments. Mm-hmm. And so it's 3-on-3, but it's not the same 3 guys. You still have line changes, but it's 3-on-3 like the overtime. And there's so much room on the ice for these skilled players to go. So, as before, you might have Crosby and Ovechkin on a line together. But now you definitely have them on a line together because they're the 2 best players in the league.
You missed the Central.
The Central, yeah.
Atlantic Metropolitan, Central, Pacific.
Central's Blackhawks and then like everybody else.
Yeah.
So, It's fun, but the thing is they put out $1 million prize for the winning team. So you get your winners at the end of those, and both winners scored 10 goals each. But then it became a really competitive game where like there was long stretches where no one was scoring, and you have some of the best players in the world with all the open ice that you can imagine going out there, but they played halves. They didn't play standard 3-period games. They didn't do any of that stuff. They mixed it up and they did something different. Whereas the Pro Bowl, it's like, what the hell is that thing? They got teams that you line up for your thing. Who wants to see that crap? Go with the old, just go through cycles of 4-on-4. You got your center and your pass rusher. You got your guy covering, and you got 2 guys covering and 2 guys going down the field. You know, like you used to play street ball. Do something like that. Do something different. But instead, they're like, there's nothing at stake.
Right.
There's no reason to win the game. There's no reason to even play the game. Especially since they're not even going to Hawaii anymore. Right. It used to be a cool thing to go to Hawaii.
To be. That was one of the main things. And I remember hearing that the first time they toyed with having the Pro Bowl on site of the Super Bowl. Right. I know that it wasn't on the site of the Super Bowl this year. Yeah. It was somewhere completely different. But one of the people who was elected to the Pro Bowl, I can't remember who it was, and then said he wasn't going to go, was just like, well, it would have if it was a trip to Hawaii. You didn't get a trip to Hawaii out of it, but instead I'm not going to go.
You bring your family out and you can go on a trip to Hawaii.
Right.
It's not like you have meetings all week. You're in the Pro Bowl. Nobody's caring what the playbook is.
Right, exactly.
You're there to have fun, you know? No. But, yeah, again, this is part of Roger Goodell and his saturation of the sport. We've got to be everywhere with it. As soon as the Super Bowl ends, they're going to have some stupid press conferences with all the winners and, the MVP and, a luncheon and a QA session. And then it starts right into let's talk about the draft for the next 4 months.
Combines and all that stuff.
Because the NFL's got to have the domination of the entire calendar year. And it's just,
I could tell you,
it's getting annoying.
I have never...
Go away for a little while, NFL.
I have never looked more forward to baseball than I have this season, and it's not because the Jets played like dog crap or any of that type of stuff. It's just because the Thursday night football, really Thursday night football was what really did it for me this year.
Yeah, Thursday night football was a killer.
Which, by the way, Roger Goodell is very committed to.
We broadcasted during a good many of those games because we just didn't care about who was on.
It just was like whatever. So. And I foresee that happening next season, too. So.
Yeah, it's going to be awful. Until they start putting games that mean something on there. I mean, Bills-Jets, cool. But battle for last.
The players are...
a rat's ass.
But the players are complaining.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to
Cleveland,
Cincinnati.
Right.
Baltimore. Any AFC South game.
Baltimore, Miami.
It's terrible. It's terrible. All right, and then finally, speaking of Bills Jets here.
Oh, segue tonight
to close off the first half. Rex Ryan's back in the news. Finally broke his silence, and he has made it very, very, very clear that he is not happy with the Bills organization, nor is he happy with the people that are running the Bills organization.
Nor should he be.
And that he would, quote, welcome the opportunity to rejoin the Jets in any capacity.
Yeah.
Now, he did say as well that he wishes the Jets luck. He doesn't wish the Bills any luck. That the very same day that he got fired, he took that Bills truck and had it stripped and then put Clemson colors on it because his son goes to Clemson.
We all took that truck and put crying Jordans all over
it. Yes, we did.
That would have been great if he did.
Yes.
Put it on their logo and drove that thing around.
Now, there are some... I can't even believe I'm saying this, Brennan, as a Jets fan.
Yes.
There are some Jets fans who are open to having Rex Ryan rejoin the team.
Why not?
As a head coach.
Oh, head coach now.
Should Todd Bowles be let go after year 3?
No. I would put him in as a defensive coordinator.
I would absolutely put him in
a heartbeat as a coordinator.
As a DC.
I don't think he can run a team, a full team. Half a team? Absolutely. Full team? I think he struggles with that. And, yeah, I don't... I don't know about that.
Yeah. So
That just sounds.
But
like
is
a
it
bad
really
idea.
is it really bad that I can actually see that happening? I could see the
it's not
Jets.
bad.
I could see the Jets doing something like that. Like if they let Bowles go, let's kick the tires off.
No,
off
I don't
Rex
think so.
because they love each other. Woody and Rex
I don't
do.
think so. But Woody's going to be in England,
That's true.
representing America for old Donald Toilet.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so he's going to be busy with the Brits
yes, that's
and
true.
figuring
That's
out
true.
why they have such bad dentist work.
And non-CJ2K will be running the team.
Yeah, I just don't see it. You just don't go back home. It's not like Rex Ryan's LeBron James.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing that I'm not understanding
He's
here. Is
Rex
he was
Ryan.
He was a 500 coach after 6 seasons.
right.
It's not like Belichick.
But he was really solid to start, and then all of a sudden the roster quality went down, and then they just continued to tank even after that. But they didn't tank the right way and get some really, really high draft picks like they did this year.
Yeah.
They tanked the right way this year.
Yes. They
They did.
They did. I don't know. I don't think that was intentional either, though. But they were just really bad this year. But I mean, baseball's coming soon, so whatever.
Got hockey too, man.
Hockey,
It's a great sport.
It is a great sport. All right. Well, that's going to take us through the half here. So we're going to go kick it off the commercial break, and when we come back, we will have some news, including the status of this very program. That's right. We've been teasing something for weeks. I'm about ready to open my mouth and talk about it, and we will
No more tip.
right after this.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am Mr. Gabriel Soul.
And I'm Pat G.
The G stands for gangster. And you are listening to the Turnbuckle Talk Radio Podcast, baby.
Every week live and exclusively on the Gear Network.
Where we talk about indie wrestling, national wrestling, WWE, TNA, ROH, every single independent wrestling scene that we get information on, plus our opinions on such.
Find it only on the Gear Network app, iTunes, and more.
You always got to go to GearNetwork.com to tune in and listen to my voice every single week, because I know you love it. And the reason why is because you get eargasms, baby.
And if you want those eargasms, tune in every week. Otherwise, we only have one word for you.
Cyclone!
Hey everybody, thanks for listening to this podcast. If you're looking to support this podcast and this network, visit shopgear.com. That's shopgere.com. It will take you right to amazon.com, to your Amazon account, and you can do all of your Amazon shopping. The difference is using our link versus going to Amazon's link is that you are telling Amazon that Gear Network referred you, and they end up giving us a small percentage of your purchase, which helps out this program and this network entirely. And of course, if Amazon's not your thing, it's understandable. On gearnetwork.com, G-E-R-E network.com, if you click on the top bar that says donate to Gear, there's several different PayPal buttons. You can donate to us as well if Amazon isn't your thing. Your support is vital to helping the Gear Network maintain this programming, this quality programming, and continuing our growth through the year. As always, thank you very much for your support and your listens and your downloads and your likes and your shares from all of us here at the Gear Radio Network.
Oh, I had to. After that video you put on your
Yeah.
Facebook and you shared.
That's one of the best songs ever written.
Oh, absolutely. Hands down. Smells Like Teen Spirit by Nirvana. Welcome back to the Football Talk Weekly Podcast, everybody. You can purchase this on shopgear.com at shopgere.com. Type in Nirvana or Smells Like Teen Spirit. Not Looks Like Teen Spirit.
Because doesn't have this song by now, though.
Well,
If you don't, please go out and buy it now.
I don't.
You
yeah.
should have this by now. I mean,
You definitely should.
1991 it drops.
It's timeless. You drop it at 1991, whatever. It's timeless. It's still, it's funny actually. Now that I'm thinking about it, I saw. You ever seen like those teens?
Oh yeah,
Those
the teens
video,
react.
whatever.
Yeah,
The teens react video. Well, they react pretty positively to Nirvana.
yeah, they did, man.
So
that gave me hope.
So with a lights out, it's less dangerous. Here we are now. Entertain us. All right.
Yep.
So
Jay-Z used that in his song.
Yep.
With Justin Timberlake.
So speaking of entertain us, it's a good segue
He
into.
said anus.
You can't say entertain us without saying anus.
Enter
All right.
anus.
So this year was a bit of a different vibe, I think, for this particular podcast, and it's worked out very, very well. Now, when we began the podcast last year, it was more, we were trying to find an identity, trying to find a niche. Better Live Than Dead was regularly recording every week. So was Get Ready America. And then we kind of built this one to just, whatever, have fun with it or whatever. And poorly talk fantasy football and whatever. And then,
Oh god, those were some bad memories of
No,
last year's fantasy football talk.
I had to write about it. What do you think? How do you think I felt? I didn't know half the crap I was saying. But in any event, this year we took a completely different approach, and we just kind of said whatever with it and just had fun with it. And what we ended up finding was that a lot of times, yes, while it was a football-based podcast, it morphed. And it morphed into a more of a universal sports talk podcast, and then kind of morphed into a variety podcast like The Adventures of Brandon Getting His NES Mini. That spanned 3 episodes. You know what I mean? I just went on a rant,
And it culminated with me yelling losers out the window.
Yep. So
Salty.
We've talked about this before, and we've hinted it in weeks prior. And it is now time to make it official that this particular brand will not, in fact, have a season finale. And we are going to continue to podcast indefinitely. We're not going to take a break like we did. I mean, we're going to take probably a couple of week break after the Super Bowl while we figure out the new name of the podcast.
Recover from our hangover.
Something like that. But when we return after, not next week will be the final Football Talk Weekly podcast. But then we'll take 2 weeks off, and then we'll come back. Brand new show name, still the same 2 knuckleheads that you've listened to for the past 20 some odd weeks, almost consecutively, except for last week. All right, so yes, so we're gonna be back permanently. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be big. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be the best.
It's gonna be pretty fun.
And we're gonna have the best words.
Yes.
A breaking news right now: Cardinals Pro Bowl wide receiver Larry Fitzgerald says that he will, in fact, return for the 2017 season.
That. He wasn't going to go out with that crap season.
Entering the final year of his contract. All right, sports news here. So I wanted to talk to you about this because this story recently developed. It's from the world of basketball.
B-balls.
Charles Barkley and LeBron James. Charles Barkley made a statement about LeBron James and his desire to have more talent on the Cleveland Cavaliers.
They've been playing like him lately.
Yeah,
well, until tonight, they blew Minnesota out of water, but
the Cavaliers.
Yeah.
And Barkley sort of said, kind of, again, dated himself and referenced the era that he was in, but talked about more or less, having to build a team around him, or, Jordan had to build a team around him, or Bird had to build a team around him, or whatever. And that he felt that LeBron didn't want to compete anymore, so to speak, or something to that effect. And LeBron, very pissed off about this comment, started throwing personal insults about him, saying, well, I'm not the one that said I wasn't a role model, or that,
didn't spit on a kid,
or
didn't
whatever.
leave an unpaid gambling debt in Vegas.
So, Charles Barkley attacked LeBron James. There's 2 sides of the story. Some people are saying that Barkley attacked LeBron James professionally, and LeBron returned around and attacked him personally. Did LeBron go too far?
Hell no. Listen, Chuck gets up there and he just trashes everybody he can because he's part of that salty old school that didn't win a ring. as mad at everybody else for winning them right now and teaming up and being friends with people. When you start questioning a guy's heart and his ability and his drive to play the game, you are attacking him personally, and I have no problem with him doing it, because what is he going to say about Chuck? Oh, man, you're doing a terrible job sitting at a desk at TNT. I mean, there's not much he can do except for the personal attacks, especially since he feels personally attacked when you question his drive and his will to play the game that he's putting his ass out on the line out and playing every single night. Right now,
He does
it's
lead the league in minutes
unfortunate.
played, by the way.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that the league has become this way, but this is the way the league has become. If you want to win a ring, you're going to have to build some teams around you. And this nonsense when you say things like, well, I mean, Larry didn't need to do it. Well, yes, Larry had a Hall of Fame cast around him. Danny Ainge is in the Hall of Fame. Kevin McHale's in the
Michael
Hall
Jordan.
of Fame. Right. I was going to get to him next. Robert Parrish was in the Hall of Fame. The Detroit Pistons, Bill Laimbeer, Dennis Rodman, Isaiah Thomas. Like, those guys won championships. They are a solid, stacked team. Okay? You look at the Chicago Bulls. It started with Michael and Scotty, and then it improved, and then they kept growing, and then they add Dennis Rodman, who was already a 2-time NBA champion. So no one was calling out Michael Jordan saying, oh, well, you have to bring Dennis Rodman in to win championships for you. They didn't do that because Michael was the guy.
Right.
The thing with LeBron is that he went and played for a team that had dog shit talent around him. There is not one player from those teams when he was in Cleveland that will be in the Hall of Fame unless they're buying a freaking ticket. To say that LeBron is not staying and competing when he ran off to Miami, no, he left Cleveland because they weren't willing to invest. They weren't willing to go get free agents. They kept getting like guys like Mo Williams and Idrunas Zilgauskas, guys that are not going to take you to a championship and they're not going to help. They didn't build. And LeBron carried those teams all the way to give a lead and get that team into an NBA Finals on a pile of junk to get there. So they're not going to get any high draft picks. So you got to go out and spend some money. And they decided, nope, I'm not going to spend money. So LeBron walked. And he went to Miami. And then Miami has the superstars because that superstar team was the only thing that was going to be able to compete with superstar San Antonio. San Antonio had Duncan, Ginobili, Parker, those three right there. The Celtics did it with Garnett, Pierce, and Allen. Pierce wanted to win a championship, so Danny Ainge says, all right, let me go get you some guys. That's the way it goes. That's the way the teams are being built now, and you go out and you get free agents, but it's always been like that way.
And to your point there about the Celtics, the analysts and the people around the world have acted like this is just brand new.
Right, like LeBron invented it by going to Miami.
Exactly, and it hasn't. It predated him.
It's garbage.
It even went to the early 2000s with the Lakers.
Right.
Shaq was there first. They drafted Kobe, okay, but then they added Gary Payton and Karl Malone and all sorts of different pieces into there to
and then when Shaq left, they went and got Paul Gasol and Robert Horry,
Ron Artest.
They added guys to the rosters to win.
Right.
I just don't understand why, because LeBron's a superstar, well, his team wasn't bringing in the players.
Right.
They didn't bring him in until he left, and then they were like, okay, we're willing to spend now if you come back.
Yeah.
They went out and spent. They already had Irving. They drafted Irving because they tanked after LeBron left. Surprise. They didn't actually have a roster.
Imagine
that.
that.
Was there.
Imagine that.
So people like Chuck, they're paid to talk. That's their job. Good for him. But if you're going to sit there and constantly every night go out, why aren't you questioning Kevin Durant's heart?
Exactly.
Kevin Durant was in the NBA Western Conference Finals. They should have won that series by all intents and purposes. They have a superstar, probably one of the best players in basketball, Russell Westbrook there. He has a good situation. They're bringing in players. They got a new coach with Donovan. He turned that team around, got him the Western Conference Finals last year, and then he hightails it and goes to Golden State.
Right.
Where's Chuck's aggression on that?
Right.
Oh, well, that's the league these days.
Yeah.
But when LeBron says I need some more playmakers because It's just him and Irving. Kevin Love is not Kevin Love anymore. He's not what he used to be.
He's not, and yet, for some reason or another, they don't want to deal him to the Knicks for Carmelo Anthony.
Because I don't want Carmelo Anthony either. That's not what LeBron's looking for. He's not looking for a ball hog. He's looking for a playmaker, a younger guy, which they could have had if they didn't trade for Kevin Love. But that's besides the point. You know, he wants somebody like an Isaiah Thomas. Mm-hmm. He wants Isaiah Thomas. He would love to have Isaiah Thomas.
Oh yeah, absolutely he would.
With him and Irving in the backcourt, put Irving at the shooting guard, put Isaiah at the point. They could switch it up. Mm-hmm. You know, that'd be deadly. But you're not going to get him because he's going to stay in Boston.
Mm-hmm. Boston's going
to
pick him.
3-pointer tonight. Just gave the lead to the Celtics over the Raptors right now. They were down by 23 at the half.
Oh, man.
They were up 103-101 with 38 seconds left, and he just got the rebound.
Huh. All right. Very good. Very good.
Zeke.
All right. Well,
but anyways, yeah, screw Barkley.
Barkley was my favorite when I was a youth, but I gotta agree with you. I think
he didn't win anything, and he's salty.
Yeah, he is.
He's salty.
All right. So, Brandon, today we're going to play a new game.
Yes.
Called Fact or Alternative Fact. Now, for those of you...
Alternative facts. The Green Bay Packers are in the Super Bowl. Alternative fact.
There's your definition of alternative facts.
That's what we're talking about.
All right. Conor McGregor says that the only way that he will fight again is with a pair of boxing gloves standing across from Floyd Mayweather. So, Brandon, Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather will, in fact, fight. Fact or alternative fact?
Oh, that's a fact. They're going to do it. They're going back and forth, and they're building the hype up. This is what boxing does. Mm-hmm. I mean, look how long it took for Pacquiao versus Floyd Mayweather to go, and it became the highest gate ever. McGregor is a big name. Honestly, Floyd needs him more than he needs Floyd right now because McGregor is the top of the game now.
Yes, he is.
He's a household name. Even if you don't watch UFC, you know him from other things. Mm-hmm. People who don't watch UFC, they know who he is.
Yes.
Floyd hasn't fought in a long time.
Right.
He's retired. He's just known for being illiterate and rich.
Incredibly illiterate.
Right now. I don't know if you saw that thing with the this is your 8th grade teacher. He really poorly, like, you literally look at it and you try to read it and you just get angrier every time you try to read it.
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, I'll show you after the show, but it's pretty bad.
All right.
But I think Floyd needs it more, and I think that's why Floyd's putting up the hard bargain, because he knows at some point he'll get it, and we know that Conor's going to get it. The fact that Floyd and a lot of boxing fans say that McGregor doesn't deserve more than $15 million is a load of crap.
Yeah, it's
not.
stupid.
He's not Joe Blow walking off the street.
No.
Yeah, he's not a boxer, but it's not like he's a
not like he doesn't know.
Player.
It's not like he doesn't know how to throw down.
Excuse me. It's not like he's a cricket player from England coming in and saying, "Hey, I'd like to play for the Patriots at quarterback."
Yeah,
it's not the same thing. He's fighting the guy.
Yeah,
he's going to get into a fight.
He knows how to fight.
He should be given a proper, respectful payday. It should not be, well, you know. You haven't made $100 million in your lifetime, so why should you get $100 million? Well, a lot of people don't make $100 million when they first start out. You know, Floyd never made $100 million, and he made $100 million.
Yeah, well, that's Floyd logic. That's Floyd logic for you.
Yeah.
So, all right,
it'll happen.
Okay, so
Jesus.
Goldman Sachs pulls out of the deal with the Oakland Raiders in Las Vegas. So now the Las Vegas Raiders are in jeopardy.
Yeah.
Cue the city of San Diego, who reached out to the NFL and said, hey, we have a football stadium, and we will be more than happy to take the Raiders if they can't strike a deal with Oakland. So, Brandon, in 2019, the Raiders will, in fact, move to San Diego. Fact or alternative fact?
I want to say alternative fact, but God, the NFL is so wacky like that. Like the Cleveland Browns pack up and move in the middle of the night and head to Baltimore, and then like a year later they got the Cleveland Browns again. I don't.
Right,
I
but
don't
they
know,
would.
man.
But it wouldn't be the San Diego the Oakland Raiders moving to become the San Diego Chargers again.
No, it wouldn't be, but you're moving a franchise to a city that just lost a football team.
Right.
That's like St. Louis losing the Rams and then
Getting the
just
Jets.
get a new team in St. Louis. You get the Jets.
There you go.
You know, it's I wouldn't put it past the NFL. I've been hearing all these stories that the NFL was furious that they moved.
No, I heard that
Blah,
from
blah,
more than
blah.
one source. Yeah.
You know? So it wouldn't surprise me if they can't get a deal done in Oakland.
I believe what they really wanted to do was they really wanted the Raiders to go to Los Angeles. They wanted the Raiders there, which then baffles me as to why they gave the option to San Diego first.
Well, I think because the Raiders don't really want to move to Oakland or to Los Angeles. They've been there, done that, and they fizzled out in that market. They didn't like sharing. They want to be the only game in town. They don't like to share. They were in the same thing with the Rams, and they didn't like to share the spotlight with the Rams.
Fair enough.
So they moved back to Oakland. And I think it's the same thing. The Rams are already there again. They don't want to move back to do that again. So that's why they want to go to Las Vegas, because they're the only game in town. Mm. And that makes more money. That makes you more profitable.
I call it hunch. I don't think Vegas is happening now.
No, probably not.
I don't think it's happening now.
No, probably not.
So we'll see.
This is a tight game, man.
San Diego Super Raiders.
105-104 with 3 seconds left. Celtics ball, though.
Okay. There have been rumors
Yes?
that Carson Palmer has put his house up for sale and pulled his kids from school. Carson Palmer has played his last game as the quarterback of the Arizona Cardinals. Fact or alternative fact?
I want to say fact. I think he's...
Think he's done?
Yeah. He really looked bad in that year before playoff game against Carolina 2 years ago. This past year, he didn't look great either. He's been banged up.
He has mentioned repeatedly about how smart he's been with his money.
Yeah.
So he's not hurting for money.
No, he's going to be fine. I think that he'll be okay, and I think the Cardinals will be okay too.
Okay. Tony Romo will start week 1 as a Denver Bronco. Fact or alternative fact? He's been meeting with John Elway, and they've been having conversations, and they've been going very well.
Trump dinners. Assholes. Alternative fact, because Jerry Jones just loves Tony Romo too much to let him go.
You don't think he'd let him go to Denver? He's not contending with it would be one thing like if he were to let him go to maybe Arizona.
Yeah.
You know.
I think it's going to go to the highest bidder. I don't think he's just going to hand him over to Denver. I don't know what Denver has to offer. They don't have a high draft pick. They don't have
Got
much
some
that's going to
players on
help.
defense.
Yeah, they're not going to trade any of those guys. What's the point?
All right. Fair enough. And then finally, Tom Brady will win his 5th Super Bowl, and the awkward trophy presentation will, in fact, take place.
Fact.
Fact?
Fact.
Okay.
Although, it could be an alternative fact, because Raj might get some case of food poisoning with like 30 seconds left in the game, and the Patriots are kneeling down, and all of a sudden he's doubled over in the booth, and they have to send out the deputy commissioner to go hand it out, and Raj, takes off in a limousine and
so long, suckers!
beats it in his sweater vest.
Oh, Jesus. You know what? Here's another thing, and this is just purely speculation. There's no rumors or reports or anything like that. I just saw this on a board, and figured I'd throw it to you real quick.
Okay.
Tom Brady got pretty emotional when he was talking about his dad at the Super Bowl press conference. If Tom Brady wins if the Patriots win the Super Bowl and Tom Brady wins his 5th ring, you think he retires?
No.
You don't think he would retire on top?
Nope. Because I think he knows that he can go out and be on top again next year.
Okay.
I don't think he wanted to just be slightly the best that ever played the game. I think he wants to be without a shadow of a doubt, the best player to ever play the game.
Next year he will be 40, I believe.
Yeah.
And
he's moving around just great.
Yeah, he is. So
we'll looks
see.
Great.
All right, very good. Well, that will do it with the sports talk. And you know what? We're running low on time, so there's not really a whole lot to chat about, right? Yeah?
Celtics win.
Celtics win. There you go.
First placed. First place.
First place, Celtics. All right, very
Take it,
good.
Raptors.
Very good. We are going to end it on that note with the Celtics winning.
Little Zeke with 44.
44.
He's a baller. He had 50
Jeez.
now too. Did you see that game he had? He had 51 points.
I did not see
With
that.
0 assists. And Kobe was like, "That's my boy."
That's funny. That's funny. All right. Well, thanks everybody for tuning in to the Football Talk Weekly Podcast.
Preview
And
of what's to come.
Preview of what's to come, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. Yes, starting in March, we are going to be back with a different format, but we'll touch up more on that next week. We do still have one more podcast to go in the Football Talk Weekly season, and we will do that after the Super Bowl next week. Shall we, Brandon?
Yes, we shall.
All right. Good day to you, sir.
Good day to you as well.
Enjoy the Super Bowl this weekend, everybody. Be safe. Be responsible. Good night now.
Remember to see more National Football League action next week.
The preceding presentation has been brought to you by the Gear Network.